right, man. Hi, how's it going? It's nice to meet you.
Yes, likewise, likewise.
Do you want to or it is definitely a pleasure because I've watched all your videos, but do you want to do a quick recap of like who you are and what you do?
Yes, this is always the interesting part where I get to say who I am. Well, I'm Brandon Jordan, Jiggin with Jordan on YouTube. And for the last 6 years, I've been doing YouTube underwater treasure hunting, traveling with some of the most beautiful places and some of the nastiest places in the world, diving down, finding stuff people lose, and trying to get stuff back to the owners, and built a pretty cool YouTube channel, Facebook page along the way.
Yeah, and you're almost at 3 million.
Dude, I'm so close. I'm every day. I'm like, come on, man. So,
And another thing, I'm jumping around already here, but you also have the Banger podcast, which just was it today that you hit 10K?
10K today, man. So
yeah, which is another reason that I wanted to start this podcast up because it's super fun to watch, and it's a great way for me to be able to reach out to other people, even if it's not in person, that just have a good time and again, hopefully create some value. So that's pretty cool.
The podcast game is so tight right now. So when I saw your message, and you did the coolest thing ever. It's like so many people reach out on Instagram and just, but you were like, yo, let's do this podcast thing. And I was like, I'm into podcasts right now. So you already knew that I was like tied in. I was like, you know what, let's do it. I think the coolest thing is getting to do podcasts with people and just kind of getting to learn people. I think it's like a great way to communicate and a really great way to show people like these conversations. It's really cool. I like the podcast stuff.
Yeah, I definitely stuck in because I think on one of your podcasts you were like, I think you were filming Googling Week with Tristan in like the boat, I think.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, you were talking about how you missed it. I'm like, well, he only does those once a week. I'm like, maybe I can slip in here see if he wants to hop on for one.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But yeah, so I've been watching your Jiggin with Jordan YouTube video for a long time now. Again, I just started this podcast, but I just wanted to shoot. I figured I'd reach out and say what's up. I did want to bring up the most recent video that you have is that crazy GT that you killed.
Oh man. Yeah, that was a life. I wouldn't say lifelong goal, but since I started YouTube, I started doing the treasure hunting. I started off as a fisherman first. Then I started off doing that, and then it transitioned to underwater. And then I married both of those worlds. I started fishing underwater, spearfishing basically. And so that trip, when I went to Hawaii, that's one of the only places in America you have an opportunity at a GT. And it's such a rare, like mean brute of a fish. So I really wanted to chase it down. But I also hit, my best dives on that trip, 100+ foot free dives. So just a bunch of great stuff. But yeah, I felt like a true warrior, like hiking out legitimately with like a 70-80 pound fish.
That thing's giant, and you definitely got some sweet photos with it.
I'm not a big guy either, I'm like only 5'8", so when I shoot a big fish, it looks monstrous.
It definitely made it look huge.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
I love the way you I feel like you did that video a little bit different than you filmed some of the other ones, because you talked about like the progression, and that really hit me because it was the goal setting, whether it was just that trip that you had talked about and then that crazy fish, but the progression of the trip and then how going about things and not necessarily goal setting, but working and just continuing to push no matter like how uncomfortable. I mean, I think anyone hearing going like free diving 104 feet is insane.
It's scary
especially in the fucking ocean. So
it's scary, man.
That's wild.
One of the things about that video too is when I was filming it, a lot of people don't know this, but with the spearfishing videos, you kind of go spearfishing first, and then you reverse engineer and then film your intro. So, if you have an opportunity at, a parrotfish, which is like this crazy, beautiful fish, you shoot that fish and then you go back and do your intro and you say, we're kind of looking for this colorful tropical fish. It's kind of how spearfishing works. But I say that to say this: with the GT video, I had two options. I could have done the traditional route where it's like going after this big dream fish and trying to set it up and shooting that fish. But I felt like there's times on YouTube where I make videos for the subscribers and the audience, and then I make videos for myself. And when I started YouTube, it did start as a class project. That was in like 2015, but I actually started making videos on my sport bike in like 2012.
Are those on the channel?
They're unlisted, so I can still watch them. But
I was gonna say, I was like, I've watched.
Yeah, I should make them public. I should make them public. But yeah. When I started doing YouTube, like back in 2012, I looked at it as the coolest way to scrapbook my favorite moments in my life. And so with that GT video, I was like, man, I could make this for the people, or I could edit it and do it how I want to watch it in 20, 30 years from now. Or like when I have kids or grandkids, when they see that video, they see like from start to finish the story of why that fish was so important. So that one I made for myself, and people in the comment section really loved it too. I think they were just able to kind of see the struggles and feel that. So that was kind of cool that it all worked out.
Yeah, well, I think people can definitely see what, even if it's they're only like that was the first video they've ever seen. I think people notice that. I mean, I've watched all your videos, but like the progression of that one was super cool. And I believe I'd already reached out, so I was like, oh, no, that's pretty neat, and it's pretty like relative with like the topics. Another thing is you were in Hawaii, so like the clearest water ever.
Yeah.
But you live in Florida.
Right.
So all those videos are sketchy. And I think you mentioned like all the time, like maybe off play, like, yeah, it's a little sketchy, but like, I don't know if everyone, but like I watch that and I'm like, because I would love to spearfish one day. That's definitely like on my vision board, but that is so sketch.
Yeah. People don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, and like camera, you can't even see anything. And then you have on the Banger podcast, you have someone that literally got their head in a crocodile or alligator, one of the two.
He got bit in the head by an alligator, and it's like a miracle he's even alive, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's just like when you get in the water in Florida, that's the game you play. That's the risk you take. But with the treasure videos, it is put us in more compromising positions than a traditional human would ever really experience. So we've been lucky a lot of times. We try to take those precautionary measures, but there's only so much you can do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's still crazy. So I'm in New Hampshire. It's April 12th right now. We just had our like first warm day. So finally like itching to get outside, but some of like the catch and cooks that you did in Hawaii are insane. Like the prawns. I don't know. I feel like people like can like live through those videos, even if they like haven't, especially like YouTube. And I know you mentioned on the podcast, like they don't get crazy views like they used to, no matter like how good the content is or the thumbnail, which I'm like, I keep looking over because I'm staring at them.
Yeah.
They're crazy. And but I think, yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, a lot of people in the country don't have like an opportunity to do anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, in New Hampshire, we have bass, like muddy bass, like they're talking nasty.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, some of those videos, again, that trip was for me, you know, when Ryan reached out, he's a world-renowned freediver, and it's a funny story. It actually reached out months and months and months, and you get a bunch of people that email you or message you and say like, you know, I always use this as an example, but like every 12-year-old messages me and tells me there's a 10-pounder in their pond. And, you know, they're like, you got to fish my pond. There's a 10-pounder, it's full of just trophy fish. And I'm like, that could be true, but I can't filter them out, you know? Yeah. And Ryan had messaged me so many times, and I didn't see all of them. It's especially with emails and stuff like that. And long story short, I ended up watching this guy's content, and I saw the name. I was like, Ryan Myers. This guy's incredible. I've been watching his videos for like months now. And I was like, this guy's really good. Why does that name sound familiar? So I went on Instagram, I typed him in. I was like, I'm not following him. He's following me though, but he's in the spear world, so it kind of makes sense. So I hit him a follow, and it's like, maybe my email or something. So I type in Ryan Myers. Sure enough, dude, a bunch of them. Yeah. And so that's how we ended up linking up. He was reaching out to me, but I ended up falling in love with his content on my own, which was super cool. And then he just took me on a trip of a lifetime, but also we went out there to progress my free diving. So there was a lot of course training between him and I. A lot of adventures happened, but yeah, that was a crazy series. The videos didn't pop like crazy, but YouTube as a whole right now is hurting, which is really weird and really discouraging to a lot of creators, including myself. But I mean, this is how we make our living, you know? So when the views are down, it's terrifying. It's not just scary. It's like, you know, my house, this building, all this stuff is funded by the internet. And I think everybody thinks if you have like 1 million subs, you're automatically just a multi-millionaire, but it's just not the case, man. We do pretty well enough to be able to fuel and live full time on YouTube, but so much money goes into the videos. And I think people think we're just cashing out all the time. You know, we do well, but I mean, we'll spend $20,000, $30,000 on equipment on a bi-monthly basis. So it's just one of those things you got to pay to play. And
yeah, absolutely.
And it's not paying you back. It's terrifying. So.
Is there something from that trip that like was your, other than, well, I guess the GT, now that I think about it, I was going to ask if you had like a favorite like spear or a favorite like accomplishment. Was it like the 104 depth or like the octopus video? That was crazy.
Yeah, I've experiencing the octopus was incredible. It's just like such a alien creature, man. It's pretty unreal.
Yeah,
you would also think they're like super squishy. You would think they're like a jellyfish, you know, but they're pretty firm.
Are they?
Yeah, and when you have to grab the head,
can't they bite you too?
They can bite you. They have a beak. That's super. So I had to edit a lot of this stuff out, this is just real world stuff, and some of it doesn't look great on the internet. But when you get an octopus, you have to grab it by its head and it will start to crawl up you. And they're so smart that they know to go for your mask and to pull your mask off your face.
Fuck that.
Dude, they're smart. It's weird, bro. So, and I'm like the most like wimp out of all my friends, bro. Like I always get in there and get after it, but man, I'm always scared. So you grab it, and the thing is you have to shake it underwater so it can't, you know, latch onto you. But
that's wild.
They're so damn strong, bro. It's unbelievable. They would literally grab your goggles and rip them right off your face.
I feel like every time I watch, I'm like, oh, I definitely want to do that. Again, a lot of people will like say that, but yeah, that is crazy. So you've been doing YouTube for a good amount of time now, and I think
6 years.
A lot of people have an issue with like taking the risk, no matter what stage it is with their life. And I think, especially like you just mentioned, going for like views and like subscribers is how you get paid being a YouTuber. That's a big risk, and especially coming out of school, no matter like how well like things might be going at the time. If you could just talk a little bit about like maybe like the mindset and that's like a scary thing to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the motivational world, it's called like that leap, you know. So that leap you have to take, and it's so true. So in my scenario, I was going to school full time. I got a cheerleading scholarship, believe it or not. So I was the first in my family to go to college. So it was a pretty big deal, or the first in my family to have a opportunity to finish college, it was a pretty big deal regardless. But so I was there with a purpose, and as I've stated before, I had this class and this YouTube channel I had to create, started making these videos. But I actually had 3 jobs at the time, and so I was going to school, full-time student athlete, and I had 3 jobs. And basically I love doing the videos, and I credit Jake the Almighty. I mean, I would not have this position without Jake. I mean, something freakish could have happened and maybe I would have made it, but I credit everything to Jake, and I just got this beautiful opportunity and got to make the most of it. So I always credit Jake. But basically, as I was going to school, I started doing these videos, and they started growing faster and faster. And I got to this position where when I would, anyone that has a side hustle, when their side hustle starts to make as much money as maybe one of their jobs, that's when they really can consider like, okay, if this side hustle needs time so I can grow it, but I also need money so I can live. And so when that side hustle meets that threshold, it's incredible when you can drop that job, and then the side hustle always explodes 10 out of 10 times because it's a proven concept, and now you're able to dump more time into it. So I used that concept while I was going to school. I worked for Red Bull. I worked at this military supply center. And so every time I would make this certain amount of money, I could drop one of those jobs. And, you know, I just kept doing that until all I had was school and YouTube. And I got to this point where I missed a trip to Africa for free, and I missed a trip to the Amazon for free. Now you're talking about a kid who's like from a small town, not a lot of people leave. He had this incredible opportunity to go to college, and I was turning down trips that I never thought like I would ever be in the position to have, let alone like I had to turn them down because of school and cheer. I had to stay. And so that was super disheartening, and it really made me question, like, what am I doing here? I'm turning down trips that could literally change my life, not only for the experience, but I can't replicate these. You know, I dive in the river in the backyard. Like I can't replicate Africa. I can't. So I basically had a talk with my coach, and not everybody always sees the same light as you. This guy helped me out, man. He like financially helped me get housing and got me on scholarships. So this guy did a lot for me, but I gave him 5 years of college. And I talked to him and I said, hey, I think I'm going to phase out the next semester and just go to school online, you know, so I can travel and chase this dream. And he didn't see eye to eye with that, and basically said, don't worry about phasing out. You can bring your equipment tonight, and then that'll be it for you. And I was like, wow. And I was like, just make sure that you realize what you're saying. I'm not saying that I want to like continue to phase this out over time, make sure nobody's getting the raw end of the deal. And he stuck with his guns. So I returned all my equipment that night, and I never went to class again. I WF'd all those classes, which is a withdraw fail. I never talked to the teachers. I never did anything. And that's not the way I wanted to go. But I believed in myself that much. And mind you, this wasn't just a random like jump of faith. Like I had a proven concept over a year of time that kept projecting. And that was the moment I dropped everything for YouTube, and it absolutely changed my life. It was scary as fuck, bro. It was, you have highs and lows with every career. And with YouTube, it is severe highs and lows. And to creators on the platform right now that haven't diversified themselves, is life or death. You know, like I said, YouTube views are down right now. They're down across the board. And if that would have happened to me in the very beginning, it's terrifying. You have to question, like, do I need to go back? But basically just fought through it, man. It was like sink or swim. So I made a shit ton of videos. I traveled everywhere I wanted to travel. And every dollar I made, I spent 10, and I just continued until years and years down the road, I ended up in this position. But I mean, I gave up everything. Every opportunity I had that I thought could change my life, I had to give up so I could be where I wanted to be. And it's just something in your heart, you know. I'm sure you can attest to that. Like, you have a business you're starting, and you can feel those vibrations. You know when it's time to jump, and you know when it's time to hold tight.
Yeah, and I that's actually super relatable for me right now, because you right before the first thing you were saying was like there's like that leap, and there comes a point where like that side hustle like needs all your time.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty maxed out on time.
Yeah.
The podcast probably wasn't a great addition to my time, but it's something that I think, at least again selfishly, I think is going to add value to myself, but also like allows me to reach out and have like these conversations with people. But I think you even said like you did not think that was going to be his response, and a lot of people might hear that and be like, oh, you're right, maybe I'll just stay. And I think betting on yourself is like the biggest thing that you can do. And up until a year or two ago, I would have never thought that either. And I did that. I mean, I would always call myself a hard worker. In college, I had 3 jobs as well. I just didn't like, I don't know. I think betting on yourself and maybe just having a little bit of confidence that that you can push through, even like through the highs and lows. And that's definitely like a big low, and it's a hard thing that I think helps you learn a lot too.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, I mean, even right now, I feel like you just have some crazy ass days, not a lot of sleep, and I think it's super important to just kind of bet on yourself. And I haven't taken that leap yet, so I can't speak on that part, but we're getting pretty close here.
Yeah, and it takes time. You know, that took years for that to happen. And even when I took that leap, I mean, outdoor YouTube is a whole nother beast. You know, you have it's hard as shit, man. You are, especially, I mean, I used to do a lot of fishing. I'm actually gonna kick up more fishing.
I was actually gonna ask about that. So
yeah.
we can circle around if you'd like.
Yeah. So you rely, I mean, with fishing, you're relying on the elements, you're relying on fish. And we had this joke a while back. It only takes one fish to make a fishing video, man. Like once you get that one in the boat,
but you see a lot.
I can breathe.
A lot of times you'll see a video with just one fish.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. And so with outdoor YouTube, you're always relying on something, and Treasure's even worse because a lot of people don't know, but we film those videos multiple days. So let's say we go to Jenny Springs, which is super popular for us to go to. That's where we normally find all of our best stuff because it's just packed with tens of thousands of people. Everybody is just wasted.
Yeah, dropping everything.
Yeah, they're dropping everything. There's rope swings, everything. It's just like literally made for treasure hunters, really. But a lot of people don't know. We wear the same wetsuit, same attire every single time, and we can put days of underwater footage together. So, you know, it's like you go and you find one phone day one, and you find, you know, like 10 sunglasses and whatever. Day two, you go in and you find a couple necklaces while you're metal detecting, or, you know, you find 3 more phones. So now in this one video, you found 4 phones, you found 30 pairs of sunglasses, you found 200 bottles and 300 cans. Like it gets absurd. That's why people always question kind of what's going on, but it is a shit ton of work. And I guess I'm circling around to say this. These videos go up and down. They're extremely hard. They're extremely weather dependent, but every winter you literally look at your channel analytics and you're like, I messed up. Like I messed up. So YouTube in the summer for outdoor people, it goes sky high. That you make all your money in the summer and you survive in the winter is kind of the thing. So it's up and down for sure. For sure.
Well, I mean it's the outdoor stuff is, I mean, for me it's definitely fun to watch, especially where like I don't have a ton of time, but like I mentioned, it's April here, so I'm like about to like be fishing time.
Yeah.
Although I probably have 2 hours a week to do that, but I think it's still enjoyable to watch, even though again the winters might be a little rough.
Yeah.
Is so a point of that is like if you're filming, say you're filming 3 or 4 days. What if I guess how do you pull it together? Like if you want, like, do you have to wait to finish a video, or do you like intro, outro? But a lot of times in like the treasure videos, you are showing everything, but if the weather's like crazy different, it's pretty easy to tell in a video. How do you go about that?
So normally it's you know, there are not every treasure video is multiple days.
Yeah.
Especially if we're not finding a lot, you can tell. You're like, wow, this one is definitely he was in and out. And most of the time, like if we have permission to dive a spot, we only have that day. So it's not a blueprint for all of our videos, but essentially all of the talking points can be done at one time, which is incredible. So we can do multiple drifts, underwater stuff all one day. The next day we can come back and do intros. We can do interactions with people who recognize us. And it's like, you know, interviews, like small interviews, like, what do you think you're going to find? Or Brandon and Jake are diving underwater right now. Like, what do you think they're going to find? I was like, well, I lost my iPhone. Like you can get all those interactions in one day. And so you marry those two things and create this beautiful video. But yeah, I mean, weather, most of the time, if it's good one day, it'll be all right the next day. So we don't really have too many problems with that. But yeah, there have been times where we've had to hold off on all of our footage and come back. So I mean, Tristan holds on to footage for weeks.
He posts so like spread out. It's crazy.
He's honestly, we're all going through it right now.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm just I'm in this weird transition right now of I moved. I'm not with the boys. It was easy to film when we were all together all the time. And YouTube has changed a bunch, which changed the way we work. But yeah, I'm in this transition. So I'm even having a hard time with like, what am I posting? How am I doing it? And so Tristan's in the same thing. He's just trying to find his stroke again of getting back on the uploads. And he's got some fun stuff coming finally. But you know, it takes a toll on you, bro. It really does mentally. It's like,
well, I know he also lost his channel too.
Yeah.
No, and it's not that he's like not posting, but I'll be like, I'm sure I missed it, especially because I consume like a lot of content, especially even just working all day. Even if I'm not watching, I definitely like am listening to a podcast, have a video on the side. I don't know why that helps me focus. So I just it's pretty bad because sometimes I'm like I just listen to like 8 hours of anyways, but so that's like kind of why. But yeah, and I know he's been posting on like Yappy Fam, I think, and stuff like that too. I don't want to stick on as much as I love YouTube. I don't want to stay on it the entire time.
Let's get rid of it.
Did want to ask, well, do you have a favorite video that you've posted, like, or like a favorite either posted or filmed? Like, do you like catch and cooks or treasure hunting? I would say like I don't know why my favorite video is the big boat tiny pond when you brought your boat to Shiner Sam's and just like ate hot dogs. I don't know why. I love the video.
Damn, you know, that's pretty funny. I think it's one of those things just so relatable, and you know,
it definitely is, yeah.
Super chill. Damn, I don't know. I feel like when I think in my head, there's a couple that stand out just because they were just milestones. The opportunity I got to dive the San Antonio Riverwalk. And
the time you got kicked out, or
the time I was able to do it. After getting kicked out and all of the crazy fans, dude, they just got stormed with people. And so, yeah, there was a lot that went behind that. We had to get business insurances. We had to get all these permits. I had to go through all this like training and stuff to be able to do this. And it was crazy, but a lot went into that. And I just thought it was, I essentially did a brand deal with the city of San Antonio, which is badass.
Pretty crazy.
It's cool to do a brand deal. Like, you know, I love Manscaped to death. They like they turn the lights on here, but to do a brand deal with the city of San Antonio was so awesome. And I would say hitting a million subscribers and having all my best friends there and riding around on jet skis and popping gold champagne bottles, that was fun.
That is crazy. Yeah, no, I definitely do like those videos. And I mean, you have so many, I'm sure it's pretty hard to like just remember one specific one. And you've traveled, like, one thing that YouTube I feel like has definitely done to you. You have like videos and you just did a whole series of Hawaii. You've gone to the Amazon. Is there like a favorite place that and other than Hawaii, everyone knows Hawaii is awesome. Is there like, even if it's Texas, just because of the people there or whatever it may be?
Well, I love Texas. I always end up going to Texas, and most of the time because of the Googans, I just whip up there and hang out with them and then film kind of Clearwater there. I always say if I didn't live in Florida, I would live in Texas. I love Texas a lot, but I would say my favorite location is the Chattahoochee River in Columbus, Georgia. Really? Yeah, it's just like, this is home. Florida is home for me, but that place, man, like I grew as a person there, you know, like not just YouTube, but I grew as a person a lot there. I was up there since 2013. And it just holds like one of the most special places in my heart, for sure. For sure.
I would not mind moving to Texas, especially I don't do the winters. I send my fiance listings in Texas all the time.
Yeah, and you can get a lot, man.
Yeah,
you can get a lot in Texas. Boy.
I know. I'm like, we could sell this, and it's pretty much double.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You can have a mansion with like $400,000.
Yeah, she's not having it. She's not having it, unfortunately.
It's pretty wild, man.
That's still a work in progress for sure. Another thing is like, so I haven't, as of late, I've been able to travel for work, like going out to visit businesses, or like the last couple of years doing trips to Florida and stuff like that. But prior to that, I had never traveled like at all, just from like growing up, and just didn't have the opportunity to do it. But now when I travel, because I like to think I eat pretty healthy, I work out, I'm pretty fit. So like when I travel, I'm like, no, we have to go there.
Yeah.
Is there like a specific place that like when you go, either if it's in Texas, I mean, you always see videos with like Texas barbecue, stuff like that. Is there a specific place that you're like, I have to hit that?
Man, speaking about the fit thing, when I was back in college, dude, I was freaking, dude. I mean, I was jacked, man. I was 170 pounds. My max bench was 315. Like I was.
You hit 315.
315. Got it on video.
No way.
I'll have it saved in my phone. But yeah,
you have to send that to me. Holy shit.
Tristan and I, we were freaking jacked, but we also cheered, and so we were tossing girls for a living and just working out 3 times a day. But YouTube has definitely taken that away from me. But all this cardio, swimming now, and just eating terrible and traveling all the time. But one thing, Tristan and I, we travel together a lot. What we do every time we go to a new state, we always find the best sushi, and we like whatever is the top rated. It doesn't matter. It's $4 sushi rolls in a hole in the wall, or if it's like $40.
They can get pricey, yeah.
Dude, yeah, sushi gets ridiculous. But I don't know how that started, but that's just been our thing. So it's not a specific place, but it's definitely like when we travel, we always, kind of go and get the best sushi.
I always like try to find like the best place around like me, but I never actually like think about, but I'm sure there's some really good places.
It's cool because every place has their own little like thing that they do, Mm-hmm. But each place that you go to is known for like something very specific, not just in sushi. So I always do this too. Like when I go to Nashville, like their thing is like hot chicken. Like everywhere in Nashville, you have like Nashville's hot chicken. So whenever you go to Nashville, you got to try that. Or, freaking Louisiana is like the crawfish boils, so it's always cool to eat like the cultural stuff in that area. But after that, I'm fine with sushi.
Yeah, that's actually funny that you say that, because when I was in Louisiana, I tried like a bunch of like the stuff that like, oh, you have to try this.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of like any of it.
I feel you.
Oh, so you always have Red Bulls.
Problem, man.
No, I have the same issue. I kind of like alluded to like I don't sleep very much. I am, and then I like switch to the gyms in the morning so I could have more time. Like I just don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah.
I just finished one, and if anyone else saw that, they'd be like, "What are you doing?" So I'm very happy that it's not just like me finishing an energy drink at 9 o'clock.
Dude, if I was not, I'm on my desktop right now, so I can't move it. But if I was not, I would literally turn this. I have all of the gas station replica stuff of Red Bull in here. And I have a whole pallet of Red Bull. I have the giant Red Bull cooler can and a Red Bull refrigerator, and it's all stocked.
But wait, isn't that the best feeling though? I know it's not healthy. And I'm gonna go off on a tangent. Do you have like anything other than like Red Bull? So I have Red Bulls, like not a ton, but I like them. Is there other ones that like you stop at a gas station? What are you picking up? If they don't, everyone has Red Bull though. I know that, but
I am just the most classless, scum when it comes to caffeine. It doesn't matter if it's in a cup and it's drinkable caffeine. I will drink it and I will not ask questions. But I will say one that I'm on right now that's hardcore is Ghost. Have you had the Ghost ones?
So there was like 4 at the gas. It's pretty bad. I grabbed all 4 of the flavors, but 2 of them were so fucking sweet.
Have you had the Sour Patch ones?
Yeah, well, you know what it was? I think it was the blue raspberry Sour Patch one. That thing was so fucking sour.
Man, that's my edited juice right there. Man.
Is it?
Yeah, when I see that one, I get all excited.
The mango one's pretty good. It wasn't mango.
I didn't have that one yet.
I like the mango one a lot. And you know what? I ordered a case of oh my God. I ordered a case on Amazon of Zoa to try that.
Oh, I haven't had that yet.
It's all right. It's not, if like you're stuck on like the Ghost stuff, it's not for you. Okay. It's definitely different. Like that's what I just finished because it doesn't make me feel like a bag of shit. like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's so sugary. I mean,
yeah.
it's still fucking full of caffeine, but
That's hilarious.
and the white monsters, the
Yeah,
white monsters I have way too many of those.
after I've cycled through everything, I always cap it off with a old Monster. But
As much as I love like energy drinks, I do want to circle back to like fitness for a minute after, but
yeah,
I actually like recently put a quote in to get. I know everyone has like a supplement, but like us, because I work so much, like a health supplement that has like caffeine in it, but I like also helps focus that has like a bunch of vitamins in it. Just because I feel like drinking all these freaking energy drinks is so bad. Although, like, because I mean, on even on the weekend, I'll be like,
yeah,
yeah, I'll have one at like noon, and then I'll be like at 4. I like get excited for them. It's really bad.
yeah. I'm the same way. It's pretty bad. So you said you're trying to get the supplement for that, or you're trying to make it?
So I'm trying to make one.
That's cool.
There's obviously people that have something similar, and there's one that I know of that I think could. Again, there's not anything that I need to even add to my life, but that I could probably make a little better. I got the quote back, and it's a little higher than I had anticipated. So we'll see. Maybe that's another thing. I mean, I work with brands and growing brands all the time, so I'm not
Yeah,
worried,
yeah.
not too worried about that. But we'll see. It's a pretty big investment in a really crowded space. However, I don't know. I also love energy drinks, so it's
It could
kind
be a
of weird.
life changer, man. You just let me know when it's out. I'll try.
It's kind of hard to promote it when I'm like just cracking energy drinks all the time, but we'll see. But as far as like fitness, I think at least for me personally, I'd like to hear your because I mean you're just more active like filming videos and stuff, not as much lifting anymore. It sounds like, but if if I don't take like keep my like hour to 2 hours a day like in the gym, I go in the morning. If I don't do that, I'm like I go a little crazy in the head. I need to like especially like if I'm just sitting at my computer all day, I need to exert like some energy.
Yeah.
Do you think, and I think it helps me like think clearer and I'm not as like crazy. Do you feel the same way? Do you like notice like when you don't lift? And I think you travel a lot, so that also makes it difficult as well.
Yeah, it's hard. I won't stand up here, or I guess I should say sit. I won't sit up here and tell you that like I am where I want to be. I am not. What I will say though, and this is like I gotta figure this out. I my mental game used to just be it didn't matter what it was, and this sounds super cocky, but it was just my like internal battle to like help push me. It didn't matter what you did, like I was gonna outdo you. You just couldn't beat me, and that's not like in everything, but
Yeah.
that was my mental fortitude, especially when I was in college. You know, it's like the hungry dog. Like it didn't matter if you put in 10 hours. Like I would not sleep just so I could put in 12. And that was like the mentality I had going into everything. Part of the reason why I think like, again, Jake gave me the opportunity on YouTube and like gave me the spotlight, but without work ethic, like you can just blow an opportunity. And I had that in the gym very, very consistently over years and years, and kind of why I was able to crush these crazy goals. I am not where I want to be, but I also am like in this weird thing of balance of, you know, it's like when I focus on something, I lock on and like I'm relentless with that. I still have that. But the other things kind of balance is not something I'm good at. And I think every really successful person, not saying I am one, but I'm aspiring to be one. Every really successful person has a fault of balance that I've, you know, been around or noticed. And so now it's like I'm in a very serious relationship and like looking at that line of like marriage. And so like, you know, so it's like I've got to balance this like relationship, and then like my work is so demanding, and now it's like not demanding in like the video form. Now it's demanding as like I have a business meeting with so and so, and then I have like a financial management team that's like helping me build up credit to be able to do this thing, and then it's like I have this company that our podcast is ran through, and I have to do so. It's like this weird back end meeting stuff, and so that's pretty draining because I'm learning at space, and basically it's like helping me build things bigger than YouTube. But all of that stuff being said, I also have to balance my fitness and my travel. And so these things are not cohesive at all, not easily. And I will say when I work out though, the days like where I start my day with a workout, I have to get up extra early to do that. Those are my most positive days. Not so much in like a everything's great today, but my energy is just there. Like I've started off the day with a win. I always think that's super important. So even if I do have like shitty calls that I got to take to, again, keep the lights on, it just motivates me. I think it's one of those big things. And I think it's all about like winning in different facets of your life. So while YouTube is down, Facebook is up. While like maybe everything's down, my fitness is up. And so like me working on my fitness is kind of fueling my drive to do other things and hang out and make special occasions for me and my girl so she's not left in the dust, and doing all these different things, balancing fucking 10 or wearing 10 hats at once, right? So yeah, I think it's huge. I think your physical health inspires the rest of your ability to move.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And actually, I think on the last podcast, I think I brought it up because recently you had mentioned like like no matter what, like if someone does 10 hours, I'm doing 12. And I'll get people that know how like crazy I've been. They're like, oh, just take some Kyle time. Like take a couple hours. I'm like, fuck that.
That's
I'm
worse.
like, yeah, I'll take some time when I feel like it's like deserved.
Yeah.
And if I'm like celebrating a win, like even if I post like even just on my story, like yeah, it's like a really small thing, but actually I don't care. Like it's just like a milestone I'm sharing.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Yeah, I think yeah, I do like that mindset, but it definitely I think what sets people apart like yourself is when you push through that and not like when you're just feeling amazing, because like we're all gonna have like shit we don't want to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think Tristan always brings this up, that I told him a long time ago is, you know, a lot of people say you have to be balanced. Like balance is necessary. I don't think that's true. I think balance is necessary in certain parts of your life. Like right now, I have a lot of things that require attention. So it's like I really do have to learn balance. But in my, I don't want to say my grinding days, but when I was grinding to get where I'm at now to be able to balance and still do shit, those days I was the most selfish person ever. And it wasn't like I was an asshole. I wasn't mean to people. And I told Tristan, I said, selfish doesn't mean you have to be bad to other people. Selfish just means you need time for yourself right now. And so that's what I just demanded for myself. And if there were other things, I would set those to the side 100% of the time so I could do what I needed to do. And ultimately, it's led me to this path where I haven't made it in my eyes yet. Like there's still shit I worry about financially and whatnot, but now I can cruise as opposed to just relentlessly grind and be super selfish with my time. So that's really nice.
And that is another reason I kind of wanted to have you on, because and everyone that I really have on, because I think most people, including myself, will look at you and be like, yeah, he's successful. But I know anyone in that position doesn't feel that way. And I think that's super important, because no matter where you are, there's somewhere that you want to be, and that you can always like continuously improve. And another point you made was that there's not really balance, but I mean, there's like, for me, example, I have a 4-month-old son, and starting my business was the biggest thing was being able to be able to spend time with him and be a good father, as well as allowing my fiance to quit her job, which she did 4 months ago. Like that, those are like the big things for me. That doesn't mean that I have balance at all. So I definitely think this is like something apart. Like I like we'll have dinner. We put him to sleep on the podcast, and then I have work. I don't know how many hours after this. Like it's those times like people like won't see that you just you said it grinding. I say grinding too. I don't know if there's another word for it really, but
Yeah, I think grinding is the perfect way to put it.
It feels right.
No, it's important, man. I think a lot of people can relate, you know, a lot. And there's a thing too, where a lot of my hometown friends are in this position where they have ideas or they have dreams that they're pursuing. And they just seem so unrealistic because it takes so much time. I mean, and not just like time of the day. It takes like years and years and years to build this thing, to be able to leave your job and do stuff like that. But I think it just, at the end of the day, I got super lucky. I never expected to be a YouTuber. I think that's one of the things that I always hate, like sounding like talking up myself, but I think that's what sets me apart from maybe other YouTubers. I never woke up one day, I was like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, you know, this is my thing, I'm gonna make videos, I'm gonna freaking travel the world. I was just going to school. I thought it was cool that I was able to go to college and had this class, and I just got to fish and make videos of it. And I love doing that. And never once was this the end goal until the checks started coming in. I was like, oh wow, like, do we get paid for this shit? Like, right. Now mind you, back in the day, it's like if you made $100 in a day or, you know, something like that, I was fucking monumental. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. We're making $100 a day right now. It's fucking insane, you know? And so I think when people are building their dreams, sounds so cliche, but it's just because it's true. It's like, if you're doing that shit that you love to do, you will get it so excited about that $100 that it will fuel you to like make that next $100, make that next $100.
Agreed. Yeah.
And eventually that will turn into 500, 1,000, and you never know where it could go. And that's like the beauty of it. And years down the road, you had so much fucking fun because you're doing this thing you love and it's this passion project. And that is why it's called the American dream, because it fucking feels like one.
Yep. No, I agree. And I think if you are doing something you care about, I mean, it just makes you want to push so much harder. And yeah, like I've said it, I keep saying, like, in my life, everything's like relative, because I might be like in the best spot that I've been at, but between like what I can see, like even on Sundays, it's like I don't have a following. I've been building my business like based off relationships and like the skill I have, but I like am still sharing like, oh, I'm gonna do this. And one of those happened to be one of your spearfishing pictures that I tagged you in. But and that's because I will do that. And a lot of people don't have like, oh, it's Monday, I have to go to fucking work, which it blows. Yeah, it just sucks. And I don't think a lot of people, I want people to be able to jump out and take the risk, even if it's something they're doing at night or it's something they really like to do. There's a way that you can figure out how to make some money at it and grow. And you've built, I mean, an awesome YouTube channel. And is there something, you don't have to share it, but is there stuff that you're working on outside of YouTube?
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, that's a whole nother conversation about like insecurities, even in your success. Like, I know I can go out there, I can make a fucking awesome video and I could share it. And I have like a lot of people who love to see it, and that's awesome. But one of those things I'm insecure about is like, my vision is, I know, I guess I think this way to protect myself, but I always think like, you got fucking 2 years, Jiggin. This is all you got. And then Jiggin is done. Like, this shit's a wrap. You got 2 years, figure this shit out, make all the money you can, like whatever opportunities you have that make sense, and, you know, take those, because you won't have this shit in 2 years. So I always give myself that talk, and I always treat it like that's possible. It's part of the reason why, I don't know if you know this, but I have a Facebook channel, and the Facebook channel rivals the YouTube channel when it comes to numbers. It's crazy. It's also why I started the podcast. Not only do I just, gives me a reason to hang out with my best friend, which is fucking awesome, but I view it as another thing that's like, maybe in 2 years, podcasts are the thing that's hot. And if you weren't doing it back then, like you fucked up because now everybody's doing it. And it's like, dude, you could be in a position where you're playing these videos like, bitch, I was doing this way back in the day. And everybody thinks I just, so I play it like that. That's how I make my moves. But stuff coming for me in the future, speaking of that type of stuff, is in my head, this ends. How do I make something that exists outside of social media? Right now, I am social media dependent. YouTube, Facebook, Banger Podcast, and brand deals, which are also funded by YouTube, merch, stuff like that. That's money that I make all from the internet. Yep. So if this shit changes, I'm fucked. I am fucked. That's why I'm not where I want to be. I want to build, I think magnet fishing kits are going to be absolute banger products to make. And, I'm connected with the Jiggins and, so I have those guys have crazy infrastructure to be able to
they do.
put us, where we can make some decent dollars and hopefully get in some big box stores and stuff like that. But again, these are insecurities about mine. It's like, well, fuck, like, can I sell magnet fishing kits to the magnitude where you can go to Walmart and say, hey, Walmart, this kid's been slinging magnets on the internet. It's time to like put them in the store or whatever. It's like, those are the opportunities where if I meet all those goals, I'll be able to step back for a second, look around, and be like, I fucking did something here. Like, I have moments where like I take my dog out on a walk and I look back, I'm like, how the fuck is that my house? And mind you, I don't live in a mansion, but like
it's a nice house though.
It's a better house than I grew up in. And when my mom came in, she was crying. It's like, it's crazy. And so those are moments I have when my holy shit. But then also in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, I can't keep paying for this motherfucker though if the internet don't work out. Yeah. So I am very motivated and super insecure to, move forward with these. I guess not super insecure to move forward, but I'm super insecure of like, okay, if that doesn't work out, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you had a great moment. It was a good run. Like back to fucking stuffing shelves at Commando Military Supply in Columbus, Georgia. Like that scares the fuck out of me, man. Eric Thomas, he's a motivational speaker I listen to, for years. He said, this sticks with me and haunts me at night in the best way possible. He said, it's all right being broke. Like, you growing up broke, you didn't know no better. Like, that's what it is. It's another thing to go broke, then be somebody, and then you got to go back to being broke. He said, that's hard. And that has stuck with me so hard. And it's just like, that's one of my vulnerabilities. Like, I got this great moment. I know for a fact this will not last forever. This shit's too good to be true. It will not last forever. It might trickle along, but I know this shit will come to an end. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. In my brain, it's 2 years. But I have to make sure that I can make sure I don't go back to being nobody. So whether that's building out business, I've learned a fuck ton. I always joke, it's like, worst comes to worst, I'll be a badass videographer for somebody.
That's true. That's true.
But my friends always joke. They're like, well, you got to become like an underwater welder or something,
you got that crazy underwater camera stuff.
I'm too scared, but that's my thing. I think it ties well with kind of what we started the podcast talking about. Is I'm not where I want to be. I think a lot of people are not where they want to be, even if in somebody else's eyes they're successful. And I asked Flair is one of the fucking youngest, most successful guys I know. I look up to that kid a ton. He's accomplished so much. And I asked him, I was like, what's retirement look like for you? And he's like, I don't fucking know. I don't think about that. I just do what I want to. I just do what I want to do, and I just keep going. That's fucking awesome. So I want to get to a position where I can answer questions like that, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's doing some crazy shit, that's for sure. No, I love I think the magnet kits, I think that's a great idea. Another idea I wanted to bring to you was the Banger brand. I don't even know what that entails, whether it's merge clothing or like I don't know. You guys were like joking about like, and I don't even know if you guys are doing it yet, but you were like talking about like banger koozies because you're fucking your green claws and shit on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's got a ring to it. It's got a ring to it.
Let's just say shit's happening.
There we go. All right, sounds good.
The banger term, by the way, do you know what that means or?
You guys have referenced like you guys have been saying banger for a long time. Every time you found like a crazy item when you were like diving, treasure hunting. Sorry, I'm blanked out for a second. And that's, I mean, I've said banger like before, but that you guys had always referenced it when you like find like an iPhone or something crazy.
Yeah, so it just pays homage to the treasure world. It was going to be Off the Deep End podcast, and then we went to secure that name.
Gone.
There's a fucking billion of them. Then it was going to be Rock Bottom, and there was a billion of those. I'm like, damn, man, like how? Yeah. Like, so I don't know who said it. Maybe Tristan. I think Tristan said it, or our manager Matilda. They fight back and forth about who came up with it. But we always say bangers, or man, that's a certified banger, you know. And so banger podcast. It's got a ring to it. So
it's got a nice ring to it. And I think I mean I even like I'll comment and then you just read some of the stuff. People love it for sure. Yeah. That comes out every Monday and Thursday at 5:00.
Yeah, unless we're slacking, you know. So it's still me and Tristan, which are the ultimate shit show together. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm sitting on the set right now. We're gonna have a big sign coming up soon. We got the guys who built the desk building the sign, and then we're gonna hang some treasure and build a fish tank out here. It's gonna be cool. So banger podcast is something that just brings happiness to us, and we just fucking giggle in here like little girls all the time.
No, and I think that's like a fun thing. And again, like me starting like this podcast is a great way for me to like be able to reach out and have like, even if it's random questions or like crazy conversation with people I would never have the opportunity to talk to. Yeah. I do. Yeah. And I do love the Banger podcast. All of your Instagram and YouTube and the Banger podcast will be in the description. I do have a couple more questions because you have everything in your videos. You have like your Yeti bag on and you have all this stuff. So you were responsible for my like addiction, quote unquote, because even my like all my business like expenses in quote like to hold my equipment is it's just not good.
I fucking wish Yeti was hearing this because out of every brand
that's the one for sure.
Out of every fucking brand I want to work with, I want to work with Yeti so bad. See, exactly. Yeah, man. I will say this. Yeti, the thing that sucks is Yeti does not need people like me. So people like me, when I say that, I mean like people that can get in front of an audience. They don't need that. They've got that. Everybody knows who Yeti is. What Yeti needs, and I found this out when I was in Hawaii, I met a guy named Justin, who is like a badass spear fisherman. He also is like a badass elk hunter. So he's like this crazy, and he's Hawaiian. So like Yeti loves him because he's got the cultural aspect to him. He's super talented. He lives in this wicked spot. So when they need shoots or they always need like product shoots, you know? So they have a connect with him and they can go out and like show their shit off in a really cool way. It just sucks because I feel like I use the Yeti products in fucking badass ways, bro.
You definitely do. And well, that's the issue. I see it like on your boat, like you did even like your whole truck's filled with Yeti shit. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're killing me.
You know, it's I will say this though, it is one of the brands that I truly do believe in. And I hate that I'm like riding so hard on them right now, but I have put $30,000 worth of cameras in, and that's not an exaggeration, in a Yeti backpack, zip the zipper. It's a submergible one. It's airtight. And I went down Whitewater Rapids holding that bitch as my raft. And I trust it with my life. But those products are fucking badass, man. They really do work. So
that's actually
one day I'll be able to work with them.
Yeah, I mean, hey, no limits. That's actually the bag I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
Because it's $300.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you specifically if it's worth it, because I have stuff that it's not $30,000 worth, but
Yeah,
it's still stuff I don't want to get ruined, like the drone and all that kind of stuff.
it's fucking worth it. If you if you have a need for it
Yeah.
and you need to keep your shit dry, it's fucking worth it. I mean, it's a funny story. I actually meant to buy the duffel bag because I was running the duffel bag bag for a while. It's a backpack still, but it's like a duffel, if that makes sense. It's still the zip one and submergible, same material. But I was buying them on Amazon because they get here faster. And I bought,
Oh, really?
yeah, if you buy from Yeti, they take forever. But if you buy on Amazon, if you have Prime, they'll come in like a day or two. So it's like, for me, it's always like, fuck, I need an extra one. I have this equipment, or I have like someone else coming out. And so, yeah. So anyway, I meant to buy multiple of those, but I ended up getting the backpacks. I'm like, fuck. So I was like, it's a pain in the ass to ship it back, to return it. So I was like, fuck, I'll just buy the duffel bag again. I was like, Amazon messed up, not me. And bought it again. They fucking sent backpacks again. I'm like, fuck. So I was like, now I have like 4 of these backpacks. I need these duffel bags. So I was like, now, because my camera fits better in the duffel bag. But then I started rocking the backpack. I was like, this thing's pretty fucking nice, especially on the jet ski. It's not flopping around. So I was like, and so that I just transitioned. But yeah, I have about, I'm looking at 4 right now that I have in the corner. And then behind me, I have like a garage where I keep jigging equipment, everything jigging. And I think there's a couple in there. There's like 4 or 5 of those duffel bags too. I have fucking way too much Yeti bags, dude.
Yeah, well, it's your fault that I'm buying all this fucking Yeti shit.
Hey, clip this shit and send it to me so I can send it over to you. You see this? You see it?
No, yeah, just some random guys like, hey, all your Yeti stuff. And then
I need at least like 1,000 more people to give me that same testimony so I can send it over and be like, please.
We'll try.
I don't even want money, dude. Just please send me more shit.
we can tag him in this video.
Let's do it. That's
awesome. So like one last thing, I actually wrote it down while we we're talking, and it reminded me.
Yeah.
For brand deals, not Yeti yet, but your Manscaped ads are so fucking funny.
Yeah.
The one you did on your Instagram story.
Yeah.
It was like,
which one was it? Do you remember by any chance?
Yeah, it was like a week or 2 ago, maybe, and you were literally like, I don't know if it was at your house.
It was like a war scene.
I think it was at your house, right?
Yeah, it was in my backyard.
Yeah. But with like the audio, oh my gosh, it's so funny. And so, for someone like creates content and it's all this shit all the time.
Yeah,
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, there's a couple of brands that I'm with that I'm just so excited because they just let you be who you are. And a lot of times every brand asks for you to submit to them before you go live and they have to approve it. But I know 100% in my mind, every time I submit to Manscaped, it's always going to be approved. And this was the one time I was like, they're either going to love it or they're going to be like, the gun shit's too much. But on Instagram, it's so funny because the gun stuff on Instagram, they try to like suppress it. But my gun
on YouTube too, it's
across the board. Yeah, on all the socials. If one's doing it, they're all doing it. So what's funny though is every time I post anything with gun stuff, I do a lot of like tactical training classes and tactical workouts, which are pretty cool. But every time I post those stories, they always get like quadruple the views. And I'm like, that's strange. You know, people are really into this stuff. Or maybe they're not into it, but it's just kind of cool to watch or something. So I was like, well, you know, my job as a brand deal partner is these people are paying good money to get their product in front of people. And I was like, well, I'm going to try some gun stuff with it. You know, it's like that stuff does really good and they want to see really good numbers. So it's like, let's just put those together. And people loved it. It was
so funny.
It's a big win. So it was fun. They've been a great partner and decked.
Which I look up all the time. I mean, I haven't bought it yet.
Yeah, make sure to use my code, whatever my code is.
I was gonna say
my videos. No, those things are sweet, man.
That's
cool. Another piece of equipment that even if I wasn't partnered with them, my next vehicle will have it. The vehicle after that will have it. It's just a crucial part of organization for me, which is a whole nother topic, man. If you're not fucking organized, you ain't getting shit done. That's my whole thing is I want to be smooth, fast, and efficient, and organization is the core of that.
And it's a hard thing to stay organized too if you're like go go go, because like even in my office right now, it's when I get crazy, I'm just like, all right, that's there, and I look over right now and that stresses me out. It's a shit show.
I'm the same way when I'm filming like nonstop. I look back at like my equipment garage over here. Everything's labeled. Everything has a place. There's racks for everything.
So satisfying to
It's
even think
all
about.
over the floor after a week, dude. There's shit in the wrong bins. I'm like, God dang, man. But I'll take that one day. I'll organize everything.
Feels so good.
Yeah, dude. It just fuels me up for the next 2 weeks.
Where do you take the tactical classes? Is it like near you?
Yeah, so it's a local thing. There's really nothing like it. It's this place called JTAC, JTAK or TAC.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's cool. It's a members only range, which is interesting, and you have to do like a performance test to even
really
be a member. So you can't even just show up and be like, yo, I want to pay for this membership. And there's different tiers. So, only certain members can go do the open gym trainings and the tactical classes and the long range stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So when you're out there running and gunning and like doing some real like house shoot type scenarios, like you don't have Ricky and Bubba to your left and right that like have no idea what they're doing. Like everybody is super dialed, and it's pretty cool.
Really yes. So as of like the last year or two, I really got into like bow hunting and like some like firearms, stuff like that. Again, like just like spend a little time, like do something that I really enjoy to like clear my head. And I was at the range, like we have nothing. Well, mind you, it is like midwinter. We have nothing around here even remotely close to like what you have. So that's why I was curious. And I'm like surrounded inside by like all of these. I do not trust them. They're like swinging. I'm like, this is not where we should be right now. But yeah, as far as bow hunting, that is probably one of my like favorite things to just like, even if I'm not going out hunting, just like going out in the back and shooting I love that. And you have
discipline.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of work. But that's definitely one of the things that you had mentioned, like I don't know if you mentioned elk hunting, but that's another thing like on the vision board for sure.
Yeah, same, bro. But I really like when I view bow hunting, which me as a hunter now, like I'm a strict bow hunter.
Yeah.
But I want to work my way all the way up. So I had an opportunity, or I was talking to Rob Lunkers, and I was talking to him for a bit. He goes out every year and he's like, you can come with. I was like, dude, I want to come with to like hike with you, see what it's about. I don't even want to bring a bow. I don't want, even if I had that opportunity, it doesn't feel deserved. So I wouldn't want to take a shot on a trip like that. I just want to go and experience it. Because I haven't even worked my way up getting a deer or anything yet. I've only got pigs. So
yeah, I haven't had I have like some cams in the back because I have like a good piece of land, but I didn't get anything last year, and we have a couple big bucks out there, so maybe this is the year. But it's kind of the same thing. Like if I can make the step to do that, and then maybe eventually like graduate to that. Yeah, that's. I mean, I've watched countless hours of videos of like all kinds of people going elk hunting out in like Montana, and it's insane for sure.
No, that's super cool. I think you said you're in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, we're like probably 2,000 miles away. I go to I think the closest I get is I think I've been to South Carolina a couple of times in the last year, maybe like 2 or 3. We have some family down there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Q. They're like they make the honey badger. It's my like silent, like the quietest 300 blackout. They designed the 300 blackout round.
They had designed that up here? Because I know of that. I didn't know it was here though.
Q, yeah. So, well, the guy that owns Q made his own company, but the company's called Q, and
Okay.
they're based in New Hampshire. I'm actually going up there probably the end of this month to do their podcast. So that would be a cool place for you to go, and especially if it's in the home state. I'm sure they have some really cool stuff and opportunities there.
I did not know that was here, and I looked that up. So that's crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. So that'd be cool. But well, what about you, man? I'm curious. You know, like we just met on the internet. I thought like it was super cool. Like you bring
Totally
some
random.
value, and I don't know. I for some reason I looked at the message and I was like, let's do it. You know,
which you had I appreciate it because you had like zero reason to like spend over an hour on this with a camera issue. Like so yeah, so I mean basically I'm just I don't even know how to explain it. I guess when it's you, it's like hard to explain, but really just trying to bring value to people that, especially because I've seen, again, it's some people might be like, oh, he started his own company, he's doing well. But I still like work full time. I do this like after work, before work, sometimes during work.
Yeah.
So just trying to build something that I can, again, support like my family and be able to travel, have a good life, do the things I want to do, and not be, I think, and just not have it like being so miserable. Like by the time Sunday comes, I mean, now I work all weekend, so like Monday's not even a thing. But just like you get to like Sunday, which you haven't really had to do, like your experience is super different. But for almost everyone watching this video, which is I think is huge. I mean, shoot, it would get to noon on Sunday and be like, "Fuck, weekend's done." I just like I'm out, out, which I think is a lot of people. Now, like I work until 9:30, 10 p.m. Then I'm like, oh, I'll take like an hour or two, and Monday is like my new start to like this fucking shit show.
Yeah.
But so basically I thought that a couple extra hours a week wouldn't be a huge deal to like reach out to some people that I'm just in New Hampshire. I don't really have like anyone that started a business that I know, or even that does like YouTube, which I'm really interested in, or really anything like that. So you know what, I sat down, I said I did a couple with some people that are really interesting that I've known in the past that I haven't even talked to, so that those were a little uncomfortable. Again, there's not even really a following, so like I'm sure you clicked on the page, you're like, why am I even doing this podcast?
I had zero questions, bro. I was like, you know what, let's do it. I love the podcast game. I admire this guy like coming out. I was like, let's do it. I don't know if you noticed, but I had zero questions of what was going on. I was like, yeah, I just don't know what time I could do yet. I felt so bad for.
No, but you like, and we would have like a couple day gap. And then I literally was like, kind of like, we were just like made dinner and you like messaged again. I'm like, I'll make whatever time work. So it was totally random, and that's kind of what I've done. And I do have like a pretty small list of people, and I've said it on like every podcast so far that I'll only have people on that I personally look up to. And it doesn't even mean that they're like successful, but either their mindset or what they stand for.
Sure.
I think that's like a huge thing. And again, even if 200 people watch this or whatever it may be, I think I had like 250 total views in like 3 videos or whatever it is. But I exactly. And I think a lot of people would be like, again, it's kind of an uncomfortable thing. And we even hopped on, and the only thing that would make me comfortable is to like have a couple things that like, because I obviously knew who you are very well, but you don't know who I am. So that's like an uneasy thing too. You're like, all right, let's start. I don't really care what we talk about.
I'm pretty easy, man, but I'm also just a regular ass dude. I just literally have fun with my camera. I got lucky as fuck, and I like playing in the water, bro. So that's like, I don't take myself any more serious than that right there.
Which is super cool, but I think it's also very unique, which again is like another reason. Like, I'm like, I'll reach out to Brandon. Why not? I mean, I've reached out. I have a couple next week.
Who do you want? What's like some of your people that you would
So I think my biggest like negative is that I have so many hobbies and no time. But I mean, like I said, I also take in like a ton of content. Like I probably have seen, that's why you were mentioning motorcycle videos. And I'm like, I think I've seen all of your videos. But like next week I have, again, it's shot in the dark. If it doesn't happen, I'm not shocked. Cause again, I appreciate the time. I have Brad Bromlow next week, the owner of Fat and Weird Cookie Company.
Owner of where?
Fat and Weird Cookie Company.
I don't know, but I know cookies.
So I'm sure you've seen it. They've like been pretty big, but I originally found him through like a fitness channel, but I also really like working out, and I mean guns, cars, trucks, and I mean any like and I think you like this too. Is like I love comedians. Like I watch all their podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Have you mentioned Two Bears One Cave? I can't remember.
I have watched it many times. Bert, I'm a big
He's so Bert. Fucking crazy and funny at the same time.
So weird when you feel like you know someone. I feel like I feel like I know Bert. You know, I feel like if I saw him, somebody, he would know. You know, it's just so weird.
Which is crazy because that's how I feel about you.
Oh, really?
But like,
it's wild.
And it's not like a weird way, just like super respectful. Like you're a cool dude, doing crazy stuff, and like that's another reason I reached out. But like Bert and Tom are crazy. I mean, who doesn't listen to the Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify? Yeah. So really, just like people that I think. There's also like a lot of people on my list that I probably will never be able to. Again, I don't think like that because maybe you never know. I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
I reached out. I also reached out to the Muscle, and we might have a time. But again, I don't even know. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting fucked with because I'm like, there's no way. He just fucking answered and he gave me like a tentative date. You know?
Yeah. You'd be surprised. People like Gary Vee, man, you might think they're the biggest people in the world and they got a lot of shit going on, so they would never do it. But you'd be surprised. You'd be like, all right, bro, you got 20 minutes. Here's when I can do it. You'd be like, holy shit.
Well, yeah, and I even reached out to you and I was like, and I think I said 30 minutes and it's going on probably an hour and a half. So you can cancel whenever you want. But again, I just trying to get, I appreciate the time, and whether it's motivating for some people, I don't know. But I think even when I listen to some podcasts, I listen to yours. Like that's part of the reason I was like, there's no reason that I can't do this, even if it's not for anything other than, even if someone else doesn't take value in it, this conversation for me is super motivating. So even if someone like sees my like stutter and then I don't have anything crazy going for me.
Yeah.
But if someone sees that and it's helpful, I think that would be super cool.
You know what's beautiful is like I think sometimes people always think that thing they're doing is that thing, like that's going to be their thing, that's going to be their one thing. And I've learned that a lot of times those passion projects or those one things that you pour everything into often are stepping stones. You know, you thought they were going to be this big elaborate thing. For example, when I was in college and I even had another YouTube channel that was not the Jiggin with Jordan YouTube channel. It was called The Inspirational Empire. I had shirts. I was selling shirts. I was doing everything, man. And
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I don't talk about it. I honestly should. I have full videos of like speeches I've done, and I always say like I was speaking the life I wanted to live, and now I'm living a life that I could speak about. And so maybe one day the Inspirational Empire might make a comeback.
Should bring it back.
I always thought that was going to be my thing. I thought I was going to travel and do speeches and motivate. And there's a lot like about me that just kind of like hardened me up, and a lot of like everybody goes through shit, man. That's one thing that like everybody goes through the fucking dirt, dude. Whether it's, you know, the worst shit in the world or just shit that's bad to you, but ultimately whatever your shit is, as bad as it is as bad as it gets for you. You know, even if like someone else has a illness that's going to kill them and you just fail the test, like your badness to you is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
And a lot of people deal with shit. And I thought motivational speaking was going to be my thing. I thought I was going to travel and do that. But ultimately, what it did for me, I think, is it got me comfortable speaking in front of people. And I did a couple of things where I look at that. I spoke at different events, and I think it just really got me in front of people, and I was doing it on video as well. So it really got me comfortable speaking in front of a camera. So when YouTube came around, which ended up being my thing for now, until this is a stepping stone for maybe something else.
Yep.
I was so comfortable in front of a camera. Tristan and I started at the very same time. And we had the class together. And Tristan was like, I don't know how the fuck you look at this camera, dude. That shit is intimidating. Like, this lens is big as hell. Like,
yeah, it's all in all in your head,
look
though.
away and talk. You know, he would never look at it. And so I think motivational speaking was my thing. At least I thought. And then it led to YouTube, which right now is my thing. And maybe at least is something else. So you never know. And I think people kind of get caught up on, this is it, I got to do this, but it just may be a part of the journey, baby. You know, it may lead you to some shit
that's true.
I did not think I was going to go from motivational speaking to spearfishing GT in Hawaii,
which is crazy. So, that is the craziest like change ever.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, just do everything you can, the best you can, and just like enjoy that journey. But, you know, use those things you learned along the way. You know, like maybe when I'm a fucking underwater welder after all this, I'll be like, wow, all those years of diving led to this one fucking thing, you know? So you never know, but I think it's cool to just have stepping stones, and everything doesn't have to be the finish line.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I started my company, but I mean, if that merges to something else, or, I mean, I don't know. I have really enjoyed the podcast so far. I mean, there's a lot of different things that I like have my feet in, and I try my best to like stay on top of all of them. But yeah, I think I don't think a lot of people think that way, though. What they're like set in their way, and like this is the one thing. And I don't know. I think a lot of people, whether it's motivational speaking or podcasts or whatever it is, if you want to, I think everyone and their mother wants to start a clothing brand. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I mean, take a step on it, and then maybe that merges to something else. I mean, I'm not gonna be the one that tells you there's 4 million of those, but
yeah, I've got a previous camera guy. He was basically working with me and just kind of like using those funds to fuel his thing. And his company's called Shoot and Reel, and it's really cool. It's like an outdoor brand for people like, you know, you and I who hunt and fish, and it's cool, but fuck, it's a grind. But the kids got heart, man. It's like, again, that could be his thing. It could take 3 more years for that to get acquired, and you know, whatever. Or that could be a stepping stone for him knowing the inner workings of, you know, clothing and business and branding and doing these things. So
yeah, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, but you know, I bet when everybody looks back, they realize every step was crucial to be where they are. You know, maybe for me, it was very clear where it's like motivational speaking helped me with YouTube 100%. Yeah. But maybe some people's story may be a little more cloudy, and I guarantee they would be inspired if they look back and really thought about how they ended up where they are and where they are of where it could go based on where they've been. So I don't know. It's kind of cool, but I really appreciated this podcast, man. I think there's a lot of value in here for people.
Well, I appreciate you saying that and coming on, answering that random ass DM. I think I don't even remember when it was, but it was probably at a weird ass time whenever I get a second. But I appreciate you coming on. I will have all your info in the description, as well as like the Banger podcast, and your website as well, jigginwithjordan.com, I'm assuming. I can't remember.
Yeah, you just put the links to the YouTube channels and stuff. Jiggin with Jordan means they gotta buy some shit. Let them just go. If they haven't my videos, it'd be awesome. But yeah, no, I think what you're doing super cool, man. I think continue to shoot those DMs and having on some people is big. So again, I think in 3, 4, 5 years from now, when my prediction is Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, everybody is buying podcasts. I think that this could be a great position. And it could be like Joe Rogan when he looks back and he was doing it in his freaking little garage or whatever.
And then signs a $200 million deal.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that would be nice, right? So,
yeah, all right.
No, it's super cool. I love that you're stepping out of the box and bringing the people value, and numbers are just that. You know, my numbers in the very beginning, they were tiny, but it was something I loved, and then it like changed my life. And then I focus on numbers way too fucking much. But you know, at the end of the day, now I don't do either. And I'm like, well, shit, maybe I need to go back to chasing.
Yeah, I should do something. Yeah.
Now I just have a good time and try to film that. But no, I think it's super cool what you're doing. And I think, you know, talking to a bunch of different people benefits a lot of people, but ultimately it'll probably help you reach whatever you're trying to do a lot faster too. So a lot of mentors and cool people along the way.
Yeah, it's a selfish goal, but also trying to help people at the same time.
Starting with a good start, man. Just getting out there and getting after it. A lot of people can't do that. So I'll be tuning in, bro. We'll keep up with you and shoot you over my number. And I think that's super cool.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And it was a pleasure meeting you, and well, I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much.
See you. Take care.
See you, buddy.